Hi Virgo. Okay, this is going to be your weekly reading for week beginning March 30th to 31st into April the 5th. Now, please know that all time is fluid, so whenever you find yourself on the timeline listening to this is perhaps when you need to hear it. Abundance just flipped. Let's see if it wants to come back. I felt like I had to keep shuffling. If your sun sign message doesn't resonate for you this week, Virgo, please go ahead and explore your natal chart. Check out your rising sign, your moon sign, your Venus sign. Okay. I know that we've got a lot of collective similarities in our themes this week, Virgo, but obviously everyone's experience, everyone's circumstances can be unique. So let's see what frequencies I'm picking up in the collective Virgos out there that may be looking for healing, clarity, confirmation, and guidance. Let's take a look. Sacred wisdom. Who had that? Someone had that. Sacred wisdom. Okay, it goes without saying that a lot of the themes in the zodiac this week is, and I think I've said this in almost nearly every video, it's, you know, when change happens and sudden awareness of, okay, I'm going to have to react or respond in some way, you know, and that's very much the case. What's happening collectively for many of us, it's how we deal with sudden information, change, shock is different. And then that has a chance to sit within our being. We've got time to start generating some thoughts and feelings around it, Virgo. And what I've found in the zodiac readings this week is very much around this seeking a higher view of our circumstances. We're wanting and almost trying to understand things from a higher perspective, okay? So whatever sacred wisdom means for you, this is your theme this week, Virgo, and I want to draw your attention to the top of the card. See how there's a series of full and, well, it's the moon phases, okay? But I'm going to group that into 1, 2, 3 moon cycles, 3 months worth of moon cycles. How you integrate sacred wisdom that ultimately forms the fabric of your being, the DNA structures and the codings. Take what resonates, okay? Like, this feels kind of significant, okay? So sacred wisdom to you will begin to permeate within your consciousness, within your dream state, within your understanding of life, your goals, your purpose, how the puzzle pieces click together, all of the interconnectivity of everything. Every single thing that's ever happened to you or will happen to you has ultimately paved a picture and a DNA imprint about your purpose here. Huge, hey? And here we are thinking we're just going to do zodiac readings that are about whatever. They've quickly accelerated into very deep soul messages. But Virgo, take this theme with you and see how it resonates. Sacred wisdom is with you this week. Tap into it. You would definitely be seeking it, and seeking it as some form of nourishment, you know, because we are more than just physical beings. We are emotional beings. We are energy beings. We are thought beings. You know, we have to satisfy the different multidimensional aspects within ourselves, and we are also a soul. Okay, so it doesn't just pertain to culture, you know, connecting into whatever feels like sacred knowing and soul path and higher guidance, religion, okay? You can expand that to suit your perceptions of yourself and your reality and your needs at this time, however you wish, Virgo. Wow, does it want to jump any more than that? That's the 3 of coins, and it's going to stay there. What foundations are you building based on this newfound sacred wisdom? I think this is going to be good. Feels deep, Virgo. Feels deep. 3 of coins is the Apprentice card. It is the 6 of Cups, the Empress in the past. Above this is the 5 of Wands. Below is the 4 of Coins, the 8 of Cups. Okay. okay? The 5 of Coins, 9 of Swords. Okay, so this feels heavy, Virgo. But there is freedom and relief. The 9 of Swords, the 7 of Wands, and the World. Underneath all this, the Emperor. Okay, you taking control. You are in control. There's sacred wisdom, lessons, messages, learnings here for you this week. But I do want to extend that further, Virgo, and say that that will expand into the next few months of moon cycles. So we are currently in Aries season, okay? And I think we had an Aries new moon recently. Let me just, give me a moment. Double 5. Okay, look, change is here. All right, there's definitely some change here. What I want to be able to say to the collective Virgos that are tuning into this, you know, in the recent past was, you know, when the Empress shows up, the Empress symbolizes the mother. She is the nurturing feminine, the divine feminine, okay? She embodies all elements of the queens that have come before her. So in the tarot, Queen of Cups, Queen of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Swords, you know, all 4 corners of the elements, okay? So emotions, so water, earth, air, and fire, okay? So she encompasses all of that. That could be you, Virgo. That could be you wanting to embody that energy. That could be you feeling like you are seeking that in life and in others, all right? In the recent past, when the Empress shows up, you know, it was a time of fertile new beginnings for something. But I do see here that there has been a sense of loss because of change, okay? There's 2 5s here. I've got the 5 of Coins and the 5 of Wands, primarily talking about, you know, when I look at the 5s, to me that is inner conflict, okay? Yes, I know that when loss happens, it's sometimes it's more often than not a circumstance, due to circumstances outside of us, okay? So when someone leaves us, when we lose a job opportunity, when we lose money, when we lose love, whatever the case may be, we feel like it's because of something outside of us. However, when I see 5s, working with the numerology of change and needing excitement, on some level we knew that something had to change, okay? This could be deeper subconscious stuff, all right, Virgo? I do see where you are at right now. You are wanting new beginnings, okay? In the realms of emotions, perhaps, because when the 6 of Cups show up, yes, it works with our emotions, but the 3 of Coins talks about practical foundations. We are building something here. I do want to say you are looking at building something that either replicates your past or with someone from your past. When the 6 of Cups show up, there is no second guessing. The past is at play here or at influence, okay? So perhaps there might be conflict because the past is of influence to the foundations that you're hoping to build, Virgo, or it could be because you're wanting to replicate the past, okay? So the 6 of Cups it does represent the past. When times were good, all right? So congeniality, all right? The giving and receiving of love. The 6 of Cups is a love card, obviously. Now, the reason I feel a little bit thwarted, okay, I don't feel that you're not moving forward, okay? There is a need here to release control of the need for conflict. The need to believe that conflict has to exist, Virgo. So this is what crowns you. You feel like wherever you go, the glass ceiling is just always there, okay? That's not the right saying, Ellie. this crowns you, and this is at your base at present. There's some sacred wisdom here for you, Virgo, in the fact that in the recent past you felt like the future was full of possibilities, or you were seeking perhaps this energy that the Empress embodies: nurture, generosity, the ability to build and gestate something of divine value. Okay, you are embodying that energy. Okay, that is the energy of the divine feminine. And now you have an opportunity here to build foundations, to create a start that ultimately draws back memories from the past, or is involved with the past somehow. This is even like a past life connection, childhood memories. You're wanting to recreate foundations perhaps that were originally birthed in childhood. But there's conflict here. And the conflict exists above you. And what you are in control of is the fact that you're holding on to something here. There's conflict, confliction, perhaps around not being able to make a start, or perhaps around every foundation you build replicates something from the past that ultimately feels conflicting for you. You're repeating past patterns. You're not able to recreate the past here. And the reason that is, Virgo, is essentially because there's this crowning belief of conflict, of the opinion of others, of life having to be a battle, having to always be in battle with ourselves, which is, like I said, the fives are internal. To me, the Five of Wands is an internal conflict. If you're getting to a brick wall and not able to kick anything off the ground, for example, work, career, savings, relationships, genuine change, long-standing experiences and realities that you have at home, in a marriage, or whatever the case may be, Virgo, I'm picking up on Virgos here that feel like they're always thwarted, okay? The solution and the key to, because in the past, this is what you're feeling. This is the energy that you're feeling. There's sacred wisdom for you here this week, Virgo, in the sense that if something is always stopping you from achieving anything, okay, that 5-year plan, that career goal, that progression in your marriage, that whatever the case may be, if you are feeling like something is always stopping you, there's a time here. There's a lot of wisdom that can be gained. It doesn't have to last 3 months. There's a lot of wisdom that can be gained, and that begins activating within you this week about the role you ultimately play in that. There's something here you're not letting go of. And you know what I'm going to say for a lot of Virgos? It simply is a belief about conflict. I always have to defend myself. I'm never understood. Marriage just is like that. Love is just like that. I never have enough money. Whatever your beliefs are, Virgo, they and they alone are the only things that ultimately put that full stop in front of you, that you abide by and decide that's where you stop. Whereas you can pick up an eraser and rub it out. There's inner conflict here that ultimately has an opportunity to be addressed for you this week. There's a need to walk away and eclipse old emotional baggage, okay? The times you were not emotionally fulfilled. Apply that to anything. A career didn't meet your goals. A relationship didn't meet your goals. The current relationship you're in is not meeting your emotional needs. There is a strong need here to walk away from what is emotionally heavy. And if what is emotionally heavy is ultimately conflicts based on your own inner beliefs, then you and you alone are completely empowered to embrace the energy of the divine feminine, the Empress, and really house and hold that within to nurture it. This links to the past. And every time you've wanted to make a beginning, try again within an existing long-standing connection, to try again in your career, to try again in your savings plan or your business goals, you know, every time you've attempted to try again, there's this repeat pattern that resembles the past. The past could also be showing up for some Virgos, okay? When the past shows up, we're thwarted with some new beginnings. It gets in the way of some new beginnings and ultimately causes conflict, okay? And there's a need to let go then, Virgo. There's a need to let go of something that, you know, this is just the 4 of coins. It's not a 7, it's not an 8, it's not a 10. There's something here that is not as big as as you might think it is, all right? So when we're thinking we're challenged by circumstance and it's this thing, when you get to the crux of it, it's actually so minute compared to what we thought it was, you know? That's what I'm getting at here. Definitely I need to walk away from some heavier emotions. You are walking away from emotional dissatisfaction, not being able to get your fulfillment, not being able to get your 10 of Cups. This is walking away from old storylines, old beliefs that ultimately cause conflict, about this repeat pattern that might be going on for you in your career, your marriage, your experience of love, whatever the case may be, Virgo. You are needing to walk away this week from any bags that ultimately are too hard to carry. Because this is about loss. This is about the times you lost. This is about the times you were left out in the cold. This is about the times you were left out, abandoned. This is even talking about abandonment issues from a past life, past childhood memories. Okay. This is about releasing that which ultimately is the only thing that keeps you up at night. And you know what? This energy that ultimately causes the conflict and emotional weight that you carry around, that you perhaps don't even know that you do, Virgo, is perhaps what pushes you to want to better yourself so much based on this concept and massive risk that sits perhaps within the back of your mind about a potential loss that could happen. So you push, 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 push until you get to this 9 of Swords energy, because it's always in the mental realms, Virgo. It's always within you. It's always very practical. It's always thought out. Okay, I'm not saying you don't have emotions, but it sits in your head and it keeps replaying in your head. It keeps you up at night. And perhaps instead of just addressing the core, which is just because something didn't work out in the past doesn't mean that is true for every experience, or just because in the past someone said something horrible, criticized you, and said that you'll never name your thing, doesn't mean that that is true. I feel like I'm talking to Virgos that are carrying the weight of other people's failures, other people's beliefs, other people's imprint. Could even be genetic imprint, okay? So the behaviors, the way we think, the way we believe and fear and have anxiety, it is a classic nature versus nurture, okay? What energy were you surrounded by in childhood? Were you surrounded by supportive words? Were you surrounded by nurturing love? Were you surrounded by opportunities that showed you how to navigate these heavier emotions and walk away from conflict and accept loss? There's a lot going on here. I feel like I'm talking to Virgos that feel like they need to carry the weight of the whole timeline, everyone's beliefs, that ultimately were imprinted upon you, and you haven't had a chance to decide if that is what you want to take on board as your wisdom. Show me how that is wise, Virgo, to carry the weight of all others, all of their failures. And that's just it. So when people fail us on some level, making us feel this sense of loss, this sense of abandonment, and everyone is free to choose, right? But whether that comes down to the realms of nurture and love, whether we're abandoned on some level because we weren't supported, we weren't encouraged, we weren't shown how to navigate our way through inner conflict, the self-talk that ultimately does this to us when we feel alone at night, Virgo, despite being surrounded by family, despite being in a marriage, despite being in a connection, and seemingly feeling like, you know, that's the essence of who you are, Virgo. You are so amazing with the detail that perhaps you think about it to the point that it gets you to exhaustion. And that you can apply that to anything, detailed orientated tasks, other people's words. What did they really mean? I should have done that. I could have done this. You know how it goes, Virgo. All right. I feel there's some deeper stuff here, love. So you are perhaps presented with an opportunity this week to truly let go of what is ultimately causing this inner turmoil and conflict that has been printed upon you from an experience, a childhood, a false belief that you adopted a long time ago that ultimately gets in the way of your progress. So think back. You're the only one that's choosing to hold on to it. Okay? Because I think on some level you know this, because in your hopes and fears you've got the Seven of Wands. You know this is a time now to put some boundaries in place. You're hoping that you can battle this off. You're hoping you can push this stuff away that ultimately keeps you pushed away from your growth. There's wisdom here to be gained, Virgo, about your role in this, in all of this. Because the opportunity to you is a closing of a massive chapter and an opening of a whole new one when the World card shows up as an outcome. I'm going to run out of room. Okay, Virgo? The World is your outcome. This week's theme is sacred wisdom. And you connect into it when you go within and actually go back in the timeline, decide what needs to be let go of that ultimately isn't yours to carry anymore. Beliefs, perceptions, old experiences, the stuff that was imprinted upon you that you have chosen to carry because you have an opportunity to here to let go and open up to a whole new world. There's a lot of sacred wisdom in that. All right, Virgo. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you next time.